Hello and welcome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome those who are here and just tuning in to the Red Thread Cafe classroom as we do our Living the Legend mini interview series today, where we have the joy of sharing some of the incredible stories from our Color of Women graduates about their experience journeying through the Color of Women intentional creativity teacher certification training. My name is Amber Samea Gould. I think you might say that my name is Milagros. And as much as I love Milagros and would love to be called Milagros, she is usually the main host of this, and I'm filling in for her. But I am Amber Samea Gould, and I am myself a Color of Woman graduate, a guild member, and a part of this wonderful MUSEA team. And today I'm really excited to be spending time in conversation and in Red Thread Cafe with the powerful, poignant, and pretty in pink Brittany Christ. And Brittany, I would just love for you to introduce yourself in your own words to start us off with that, and maybe letting us know a little bit about this gorgeous painting that is behind you. So go ahead.
Thank you, Amber. So my name is Brittany Christ, and I am a 2020 graduate of Color of Woman. And as we all know, 2020 was a fascinating time to be in community with one another. I live in the Tampa Bay area of Florida, and I was not an artist by lifestyle. In fact, I came to creativity and art really late in my life. I was in a 4-year training program that was really intense on my brain, and I was looking for something to do that would not require reading. And I found art and I found creativity, and it has been an incredible path. And in terms, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And then also, because it's so striking and it's so visibly catching me right now, I wonder if you can introduce us to this beautiful, elusive lady behind you.
Yes, I would love to. So this is the painting title is Wings of Sovereignty, but I call her Queen Bee, and my nickname is Auntie Bee. And so she's this beautiful opportunity for me to step out and see the world in a different way. Her lenses are about transformation. The key is to her heart. The lightning bolts are about transformation and destruction and rebirth. And there was this beautiful composting of my size, of my worth, of what I bring to the table that occurred in the painting. And so she's one of my absolute favorites. And I still can't believe as a non-artist that I created that, that she came forward in the way that she did. I think that she looks very powerful, and that's been a growing edge for me in my life. So I love to, she inspires me to stand in my power.
Yeah. And so I understand that this is your talisman painting that was part of the archetypal painting series that you went through with Color of Women. And I just wanted to sort of express to everyone who's watching, if you're not familiar with the Color of Women teacher training and certification, that it's actually really a personal journey where you're painting some major archetypes, and talisman is one of them. And that's what Brittany has behind her. And so this is actually something that is an artifact of the Color of Woman training that you went through, Brittany. And I'm so glad that you have her with us today. So I am kind of curious just to sort of backtrack a little bit, because I love to know the origin story of how did you connect with intentional creativity in the very first place, and then what inspired you, what called you to say yes to the Color of Woman experience.
So I found intentional creativity at the right and perfect moment, because that's how it works. I was teaching art classes, but not fine art classes, to people that would not identify as artists. Things like acrylic pouring, jelly printing, art journaling, things like that. And I found that they were hungry to creatively express, and they were hesitant to take an art class because there's this false belief in our society that you have to have talent or years of fine art training. And so intentional creativity gave me the opportunity um, to play as a non-artist. But color of woman that's such a grand question. I was at a really odd time in my life. I had forgotten who I am and what I had come here to do. And I think that that's easy to do when life gets in the way. And so I between caring for my grandmother 724 and having some health things that were up for me, I was not feeling empowered, and I was not feeling like I was in control of my life. Control is the wrong word, but that I was in the driver's seat and that I was clear from my soul what it is that I wanted. And so, legend is the introductory, the prerequisite, and mine is up there.
Here, I'm just going to put you into solo mode for a second so everyone can see. There we
Okay.
go. Yeah.
And that painting is titled She Who is Limitless. And that's really the information and the change that came forward for me, is to understand that I am only limited by what I have decided that I'm limited by. And there's so many layers and so much information, but really it was the starting point. We talk about gathering up the bones, or gathering up the fragments or the lost parts of ourself. And so I feel like that was the beginning of that for me. And then the color of woman was this incredible opportunity to dig deeper into the archetypes, into the experience. It was, I would say, color of woman is an opportunity, whether you ever intend to teach an art class or not. I believe, and I've done a lot of internal excavation, and I've done training programs around internal work, that there is something that comes forward when your hand is moving, when your brush is moving, that for me hasn't come forward in other ways, hasn't come forward in meditation, in my journaling, in all the other ways that I've utilized. My brain goes somewhere different. My body and my soul go somewhere different when I'm painting. And so I have access in a way that I've truly never had access before. And who doesn't want that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I resonate with that so much, going through the color of women journey myself. And we sort of mentioned this with each other before, but there's something that is, I think the word is exciting. Like for me, it was exhilarating to feel that access happen for me. Because I had some sticky places in my life. I had some sticky places in my consciousness, and stuff where it's like I had been wanting to move through certain personal feelings or some traumas or whatever, and I'd been doing all of the things to support myself in that way. And then there was something about the practice of intentional creativity, and also this embodied, like, somatic experience of holding a paintbrush, of being in front of a big canvas and letting all this color and this movement and this self-expression, and needing to be the one that was sovereignly making the choice to show up and do that each time with intention, um, holding intention for a sustained period of time.
Yes.
There was something that for me was bringing healing through that. And I'm curious for you, what was your experience of working in the intentional creativity method, going through these archetypes and being on big canvases? Like, what was the actual embodied feeling that you had when you were painting and in inquiry?
In the beginning, there was a little bit of trepidation, but really what continued to come forward time after time and canvas after canvas is joy. I have learned that I love the drips. Like, I seriously love the drips. I love the dancing, the singing, the ritual, the intention that goes into the love and the connection that goes into the canvas before I start to paint onto it. Um, yeah, it just, and it grew. So with each painting, as more information was revealed, it just, I think that by the end, I titled my initiate book Activated. And my visionary, my last painting in Color of Woman is titled Activated as well. And that truly is how I felt. I was on fire. I was so excited. And I was really clear after a long time of not being clear about who I am, clear about what my soul is asking for, clear about my work in the world, clear about my ability. I didn't have imposter syndrome in any way, which can rear its head, and I learned through the process too to really, really let go of comparison. In Color of Woman, as well as in Red Thread Cafe, there is a beautiful level of support. There isn't a it isn't a competition. I'm not competing with you. I'm not competing with other instructors, other artists, other classes. That's not how it works. And so to feel like you're in this beautiful thread, a net, however you want to visualize it, but I felt so incredibly supported as well as seen. And I think that for myself, I had not felt seen for a while. And so it was, for me, it was life changing. It was really sacred to feel seen and heard and accepted and loved, and all of those things that come when women support one another instead of compete with one another.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And also, I love that you brought up imposter syndrome, and you actually kind of brought up the curative measures for imposter syndrome, which is knowing yourself. And, Shiloh Sophia often taught throughout Color of Women, um, it's like having coherence between what's on the inside and what's on the outside. Who we are in the inside, being able to bring that to the outside. So the more you tune into that, the more you access that the imposter syndrome is impossible, because you're not pretending to be anyone. You're just being who you are. And then the other curative element of that is witness from other people that see you, that acknowledge your gifts, that acknowledge your particular magic and medicine, and say, yes, I see it too. I see you. And that's what the experience, I think the experience of being in Color Woman with a whole cohort of women. So you were in the 2020 class. Mm-hmm. How many women were you journeying with in circle?
I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that we had we had a small group. We had a subset, and shout out to my sisters. Our soul sisters is what we call ourselves, and we still meet and we still talk and we still journey and support one another, which is a beautiful thing. It enhanced the experience so much to have one another.
Yeah, absolutely. To have that witness and to be able to witness others, it's such a healing balm, and totally knocks you right out of imposter syndrome and really into what I would call sovereignty, like conscious self-awareness and sovereignty, and how you act in this world and how you treat yourself and how you are friends with yourself, and as you embody your artist archetype. So I am curious, and I know this might be kind of hard to pinpoint or answer, but what for you was one of the most notable or inspiring takeaways from your Color of Woman journey in 2020?
I used the Muse process, to answer a life question, a health question that was happening for myself. And so in April of 2020, I did a second Muse, and the inquiry was, how can I experience more health and vitality? If I'm going to move forward knowing what my soul wants from this empowered place, I need to have a body temple that will support that. And so I was not surprised, but I was surprised because I got beautiful information, and it led me down an incredible path. I started a change in how I was nourishing my body temple, putting a different priority on movement and self-care, rest, all the things that go with that. And, fast forward a year and my body has released quite a bit of weight, although that wasn't necessarily the goal, but I feel amazing. And, the medical issues that were holding me back have resolved themselves. And
Wow.
so I feel really powerful. I feel energetic. I feel vital. I feel juicy. I feel, all of those things as a woman that are just our birthright, but we don't always feel.
Yeah. One of what's coming to my mind is resonance. And, kind of in my own experience, it was shifting from forcing myself to change, or being in a cycle of trying to force myself to change, force changes on myself, into having force, life force, creative force naturally initiate and catalyze change. Right. So there was like this total shift in how I was relating to myself and how I was relating to everything in my life, my body, my relationships, my finances, my world. And that really became coherent for me in the Colored Woman experience, because, as you know, you're constantly not just asked, but you're given the gift of being an inquiry, about these things and holding these things. So now that you're in your first full year of being a Colored Woman graduate, and a lot of these beautiful transformations and catalyzations have taken place. Woohoo! This is exciting and amazing. You've got a lot of great things going, and I'm just wondering, what are some of the ways you're currently working with intentional creativity in your own life, in your community, in your family? How is intentional creativity still shaping you and informing you?
I love this question. So the thing that's coming up, so I am teaching intentional creativity classes and adding them into some of the other things that I was teaching, but also I have been asked to do a presentation at an art show in November over the weekend to explain what intentional creativity is, to do a metacognitive drawing process with a group that want to know what that is all about. And so I love when I have the opportunity to do that with men and women in an environment that is different. I did a metacognitive drawing process with a mixed group recently, and what came out and how it clicks with different brain types and different ways that people think was really interesting. There were some men in the group that got incredible things out of that process. And so I think that the short answer is intentional creativity is in everything. It's in when I do the dishes, it's when I clean, it's when I cook, it's when I garden, it's in all of it. But I feel as the environment that we're in is changing, because 2020 was an interesting year to do the training. To get out and do public classes was not really possible, and so we learned different technology and different ways to do that. My heart is in live classes, and Florida is in an environment where I can do that now, and so that's the path that I am researching and putting into place, because that's where I want to be. I want to be in live classes with students.
Yeah, beautiful. And I'm thinking about this time that we're in, and the dynamic nature of it, and how things continue to shift and change, and we're being as adaptive as we can and as resilient as we can. And there can be a lot of uncertainty and some disorientation when there's so much shifting in the world. And I'm curious, with your experience of bringing intentional creativity into your life as a practice, how has that shaped your relationship to access to your inner knowing, your inner guidance system? And has that bolstered you or supported you in navigating these dynamic times?
So yes.
Short answer.
I have way more access. But one of the things that the thought that I had that I didn't mention earlier is I am drastically more kind to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And compassion and kindness are required. But that wasn't the norm for me. And so I have been able to maneuver the fear, the lockdowns, the quarantines, the doctor tests, the all of those kinds of things, because I know underneath all of that that I'm fine. In fact, I'm sacred, and I'm whole, and I'm vibrant, and all of those things. And so in some ways it releases the need to carry those kinds of things, because I'm much more clear. And I think that that is phenomenally healthy, to be able to process and release. And that doesn't mean that I haven't taken it to the canvas, that I haven't done like a whole entire canvas of prayer dots, or, a lot of rapid movement. But I I can move forward in the
Yeah.
truth. And so it has been life-changing for me, and I am deeply grateful for the process, for the sisterhood, for Shiloh, Sophia, for the whole team.
Yeah. Well, we're very deeply grateful for you and the way that you are entering into that compassion and kindness. I mean, those are probably the most beautiful gifts, the most beautiful harvests, when you sit together as a community and you can say, unanimously, through this practice, we have softened. Through this practice, we have more
Yes.
resilience. Through this practice, we have more compassion and kindness for ourselves and others. And yet, we don't have to call it a spiritual thing in order for it to truly have like a deep, meaningful spiritual impact. So I love that. And I love that I can see it in you. I can feel it from you when we talk. And when I see what you're doing in the world, I pick up that thread of compassion and kindness. I see it right there. So I'm so grateful for your willingness to share your gleanings with us, share your inspiration with us. And I would love for you to share your poem as well. I know you have a beautiful poem
Yes.
that you wrote from your experience. And before we sort of move into closing this mini interview, I just want to give you the platform to speak it out and share it.
Thank you. So this is the poem that I speak in Red Thread in the beginning of my classes, but I feel like this is for those who are considering Color of Woman, those in the Red Thread Cafe. So just listen from your heart. Will you say yes to your soul today? Will you be authentic and brave? Will you honor this space and the women around you? Will you notice the beauty and the sacred in each moment? Is there room within you for new information? May you feel welcome in this place. May you remain open to the call of your soul. May you hear your inner voice. May you speak your truth. May you be brave. I celebrate you. I'm grateful we are together in community. You are welcome here. Come as you are. Together in a circle of love, let's lay down our masks and allow ourselves to be known. You are welcome here, so deeply welcome here.
Thank you so much. That is beautiful. That is such a beautiful inspiration to share forward and have ripple out. And if you're tuning in right now while we're live, or you are someone who is watching the recording of this conversation, this mini interview, and you are feeling a little bit of a pull, a desire, a longing to connect with us and join us for the Color of Woman Intentional Creativity certification training, we would love to have you. We welcome you. And we want you to know that there are many, many women whose lives have been very transformed and activated by this experience, such as Brittany. And so we have priority enrollment happening right now until September 10th of this month, and that includes tuition savings and bonuses up until September 10th. And you can go to learn more I'm going to read this out. It's a web address and it's also posted in the chat. You can go to colorofwoman.com/invitation. colorofwoman.com/invitation. And that is where you can look through this incredibly beautiful invitation. And it really is an invitation from the heart of this community, the heart of our guild, our Color of Woman graduates, Shiloh, Sophia, and the MUSEA team, to you, welcoming you to come along on this journey and join in the beauty, the catalyzation, the transformation, the activation. So thank you for tuning in live with us today. Brittany, thank you so much for being powerful in pink. Please continue to be who you are, fully, wholly. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Amber.
All right, everybody, we appreciate you sharing this time and space with us. And as we love to say in this community, may love be at the center of all our choices. And we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.